Hey, what's happening, everybody? Thanks for being with us here on Cinema Recap. So, we're going to check out the action-adventure film called The Mummy, Tomb of the Dragon Emperor. Spoilers ahead. Well, this is a mummy movie, guys, so of course we're starting off with a flashback in ancient China. It talks of an ancient warrior general named Han, who unified a war-torn China under his powerful regime. He conquered all his foes who came against him, and then used their bodies to build the foundations of the Great Wall of China. But typical bad guy, even that wasn't enough. Soon Han learned how to use magic, so that he could literally shoot fireballs from his hands if he wanted to. But even that wasn't enough. If Han was going to achieve everything that he wanted to do, he would need to live forever. A little greedy, to be honest, but hey, that's villains for you. In order to gain said immortality, he sent his favorite general off to track down a known witch named Zi Yaon and demanded of her the power to live forever. Zi agreed to this request on one condition, that she'd be allowed to marry that same general who she was now in love with. The request seemed reasonable enough, and Han grants it without worry. Oh wait, nope, sorry, forgot. He's a bad guy, so he has to do some bad guy stuff. Han decides to kill his favorite general rather than let him and the witch be together. And then he decides to kill the witch because why not? Luckily, the witch kind of saw this one coming, and instead of casting a spell to grant him immortality, she cursed that emperor and his army for all eternity. They're turned into terracotta statues and left to rot in their tomb forever. That is unless someone deems to wake them up and get this movie underway. Cut forward to 1946. And we're with our hero, Rick O'Connell. Now you might know Rick as the gun-toting, spin-kicking, mummy-exterminating action hero of the first two films, but as you can see here, his life has changed rather dramatically. We watch him fly fish for a while, and it becomes pretty clear, kinda quick, that this life isn't for him. Even more so when he gets back home to see his old mummy garb hanging in the closet. He stares at it wondrously, thinking back to more exciting times. Next, we cut to his wife, Evelyn. And for those of you that want to know if this is the same Evelyn as the first two movies, here she is answering that question for you.
Honestly, I can say she's a completely different person.
Anyways, Evelyn's doing a book reading for a group of lonely women. The book is one of hers and Rick's past adventures. We get the sense that Evelyn, like Rick, might be missing the old times. From there, we cut to them having dinner, and it's a pretty sad sight.
May we stay this happy forever.
Yikes. But first, let's cut over to China, where we finally meet Alex O'Connell, the pre-adult son of Rick and Evelyn. He's styling himself pretty heavily after his father here. At the moment, he's on a dig of some sort, looking to make a name for himself outside of his father's exploits. I think they're just about to find it. Well, that was fast. The door leads down into a tomb, which looks benign enough. And sure enough, no sooner do these guys start wading through the depths of the tomb, do traps start going off left, right, and center. We've got arrows shooting from all directions. Look at those spinning discs, looking to chop people in half. We've got, well, that's it. But it got the job done, taking down several of the diggers in the process. But our two main characters are alive and fiddling with a compass and turning some sort of wheel for some random reason. And the floor pops open, revealing a second layer to the tomb, that of the Dragon Emperor. Alex is pretty chuffed with his discovery, but the wind is taken out of his sails a moment later when a mysterious masked ninja pops up out of nowhere and attacks him. They duel it out for a little while, but when the mask of the ninja falls off, it's revealed to be a woman. A good-looking one at that. Alex manages to fight her off, but we get the sense that she's left an impression on the young archaeologist. Back in England now, and Rick and Evelyn have a house guest, an associate from their time working as a spy during World War II. He's come to the not-so-happy couple because he has a job that he wants them to do for him.
We don't do that anymore.
But a little convincing, and Rick and Evelyn change their mind. All they need to do is deliver an ancient jewel called the Eye of Shangri-La to the Shanghai Museum. Simple. So we're now in China, at a hot nightclub owned by Evelyn's brother, Jonathan. He's here with Alex, trying to keep the kid on a straight and narrow. But all Alex wants to do is pick up hot babes with free drinks. Alex wanders off and Jonathan is just grateful. No sooner does Alex leave the frame do Rick and Evelyn walk into that nightclub, much to Jonathan's surprise. They are here to just drop off the eye, but figured they'd pay a visit to Jonathan. It's a good thing they did, because now Alex is being thrown across the bar by a couple of toughs. That woman that he was trying to buy a drink for apparently has some pretty jealous admirers. Lucky then that Rick's here.
Not so fast, that's my kid.
He steps in to intervene, only to realize that he knows the guy trying to beat up his son. Well, that was lucky.
Let me make it up.
Once that's sorted out, Rick turns to his son.
You're going back to college.
But Alex doesn't see the point. He wants to be his own man. From there, we cut across to West China, where an independent Chinese army is being raised with the expressed aim of unleashing the Dragon Emperor from his tomb. What's more, they need that Eye of Shangri-La to do it. Well, hey, it's their lucky day because the two brought it here all the way from England, back in Shanghai, and it's Alex showing his parents his discovery, that of the Dragon Emperor. He explains that for now the tomb is closed, but once that red tape has been cut, they'll be able to pop it open, take a look inside. Soon, Alex's partner, Professor Wilson, arrives, so that Rick can hand off that eye and get out of there. It appears that Wilson works for the museum, so once he has the eye safe and sound, he bids him farewell. And nope, my mistake.
General Yang.
Apparently, Wilson's also working with that Chinese army that wants to raise the Dragon Emperor from the dead. And now they have the eye, so they can finally do it. The Eye of the World, it is said,
The eye contains the elixir from the pool of eternal life.
and can be used to resurrect the Dragon Emperor Han. But it's not that easy. Now, I don't know about you, but something tells me these Chinese army types don't have that pure heart to open the eye themselves. They knew this too, which is why they get Rick and Evelyn to do it for them. And with guns pointed at their face, they really don't have a choice. Meanwhile, Alex is up in the rafters watching the whole thing. There too is that ninja from earlier, who we learned is called Alex. Seeing his parents in danger, Rick opens the sarcophagus, and the Chinese general uses a drop of blood from Evelyn to awaken the eye. The eye does some CGI stuff, and then, just as it's about to be placed in the tomb with the Emperor and awaken him once and for all, Alex and Lynn come swinging in to save the day, and the eye smashes against a random sarcophagus and shatters. The body in his tomb was a decoy, and the sarcophagus that the eye smashed against was in fact him. The Emperor wakes up, and well, here, take a look. He breathes fire, he chops heads off. He causes a lot of destruction as he flees that museum on the back of an ancient chariot pulled by mummified horses. What follows now is your classic chase scene as Alex, Lynn, Rick, and Evelyn hurry after the Emperor in a bid to stop him getting away. Although to be honest, I have no idea what they plan on doing. For the next 5 minutes, we get a pretty standard chase scene. There's even fireworks because the movie was set on a Chinese New Year. And in the end, we get the bad guy getting away as the heroes somehow manage to survive about 5 different incidents that should have killed them all. After that fight, the heroes regroup to discuss what they're gonna do next. But before that, we get a little infighting.
Everything under control.
Father and son go at it a while Evelyn tries to intervene. Rick then turns his wrath on poor Lynn, accusing her of lying to him for some reason. Lynn soon has them back on track. She points out that the Emperor's goal is to become immortal. But before he can do that, he has to find Shangri-La, where the pool of eternal life is located. But before he can do that, he has to go to the gateway up the mountains, which will point him in the direction of Shangri-La.
And that's where he and the Emperor will go.
And if they want to stop the Emperor, they need to get to that gateway before he does. Thanks, Lynn. In order to get to that gateway, Rick enlists the help of his old friend Mad Dog.
I know, just a mad dog for the job.
A quick cutscene sees him arrive at a gate long before the Emperor. Now, apparently, the Eye of Shangri-La has a diamond inside it, and when the diamond is placed at the top of the tower, it'll point the way to the pool. So, all the heroes have to do is stop the Emperor from placing the diamond in this specific spot, and they should be fine. Easy.
You go upstairs, you blow up that gold tower thing.
But of course it isn't. Not only does the Emperor have more men with him, but these guys have bazookas. He also has literal magical powers, and he's impervious to bullets, so Lin's able to summon up a couple of Yetis to try and help him fight back this Emperor. Seriously, she summons Yetis, but even they can only do so much. Well, plan B is to just blow that tower up and eliminate any chance of the Emperor finding out where Shangri-La is. Sadly, before they're able to do something like that, he gets the better of them. Magic is how, and he doesn't hold back. Soon enough, he's placing that diamond right in that special spot, seeing exactly where he has to go to achieve immortality. And to make matters worse, Rick is forced to sacrifice himself by throwing his body in front of a sword to protect Alex. And then to make matters even worse, an avalanche suddenly erupts from the top of the mountain and cascades down its side, burying everyone in its path, except for the Emperor, obviously, who manages to get away. Now the group managed to survive this avalanche, but Rick ain't looking so hot. Cut to the next scene, and they have managed to find their way to Shangri-La. There they heal Rick with the water from the pool, and Lin reveals who she really is. Turns out she's the daughter of the witch Zi Yuan, and both just happen to be immortal thanks to the waters of the Pool of Eternal Life. Their mission is to guard that pool from the Dragon Emperor. And now that Zi learned that the Emperor is on his way, they have to get ready, just in time too, because right when all that is done, the Dragon Emperor arrives at the pool. They try and fight him back, but he uses his powers on him and is able to just jump in that pool of eternal life. This means that he's fully returned to his original form, which also means that he can use his powers to turn into any animal he wants. He chooses a three-headed dragon and promptly makes short work of our heroes. But he doesn't kill him. That's for the third act. Instead, he snatches Lin into his talons and flies away. They have to stop the Emperor, and the only way to do that is with the sword that Lin has. They also know that he's going to fly back to his tomb, resurrect his dead army. So with nothing else for it, the heroes jump on the back of Mad Dog's plane and hurry to beat him there, hopefully stop him, and ultimately save the day. Zi Yuan knows that they need an army to fight back the Dragon Emperor, so she proposes raising the army that the Emperor killed and then buried beneath the wall. And to do that, she'll need to sacrifice hers and Lin's immortality.
I call upon the hundreds and the thousands.
The Emperor raises his army without worry, and we see the ground open up as thousands upon thousands of terracotta warriors march from the depths. But Zi counters that by raising her own army. It's Rick, Evelyn, and the Dead Army versus the Dragon Emperor and his Dead Army. Two sides charge at one another, swords swinging, guns a-blazing, lungs screaming as they're clashing, and the epic battle ensues. Meanwhile, Alex has snuck into the camp to steal back the captured Lin. But Z has a plan. See, she sees that the Dragon Emperor now has the sword, which can be used to kill him, and she sacrifices herself to grab it without him realizing. They find her soon after and she gives him the sword.
Here's through his heart.
We all knew this was going to come down to a one-on-one fight, and the mummy does not disappoint. The Dragon Emperor heads back into his tomb where he has to perform a final piece of magic to ensure that he's truly immortal and indestructible. They distract him with gunfire before he turns into a literal, well, I'm not sure what he is. Take a look, decide for yourself. The monster knocks Alex away and exposes his back, which gives Rick a chance to jump him and stab him right through the back with that sword. It's enough to see the Emperor turn back into a man, but not before dislodging that sword and snapping it in half. Across the room, our two girls make short work of the Dragon Emperor's new generals. You might even call it a crushing victory. But Alex is hurt. Rick, seeing this,
Fight like a man!
he rises to the bait, takes Rick out fisticuff style. But we see that Rick wasn't trying to beat the Dragon Emperor, just distract him. Alex snatches the half-broken blade, sneaks around the back where his father's fighting. Rick, taking the initiative, somehow manages to start beating the Emperor back, just enough to snatch the other half of the sword. He sees the moment, drives the broken blade into the Emperor's chest, just as Alex dives out of nowhere, drives the other half into his back, piercing through the heart at the center, and killing that dude once and for all. Once the Emperor's dead, his army explodes into dust. And so does the other army, leaving just the good guys behind. And seeing as they're in the middle of a desert, there's no cleanup. They're free to head back to Shangri-La as if nothing had happened. this is a movie, so they get together in the end also. Even Jonathan gets a win on this. Thanks for chilling with us, guys, on the recap of The Mummy, Tomb of the Dragon Emperor, produced by Universal Pictures and released in 2008. All right, we want opinions here, people. If the Dragon Emperor was to go toe-to-toe with the original Mummy, who's gonna win? Let us know with that hashtag Cinema Recap in the comments. And as always, till next time.